basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. It's time for the best 60 minutes of your life. This is the Homer Hour, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Here's Emmy Award winner Homer.
The best and busiest 60 minutes of your day because it's Rainman. Caller 5, 1-800-990-3776. The only contest I'm a part of in which you can stink and you still get a $25 gift card from Cousin Subs. Caller 5, 1-800-990-3776. And you could win Cousin Subs for a year. Our current contest will end the last Wednesday in June. We have 2 people with 12 of the 15. You would have to match that to have a chance at the end of June. Or 13, and then you'd be the leader. If you get 12, you cannot compete as among the leaders, as the 2 that are currently at 12 cannot compete. Somebody gets 13. Everybody at 12 is back in business. 1-800-990-3776. Caller number 5. Caller number 5. Then we'll have Jason Wilde and Tim Van Vorn and Shota Imanaga. I don't care who plays for the Cubs. Doesn't matter. Need to watch him pitch tonight.
He's
Go
fabulous.
to the game if you can. They paid very little for him. He was a star in Japan. 5 years, $53 million. Right after the guy the Dodgers got about 5 times that amount. Shota Imanaga. I hope that's close. Is that right?
I believe that's how you pronounce it, yes.
5-0. He's a little guy, 5'10", 175. I don't think he looks like 5'10". I think he's shorter than that. He's given up 5 runs in 53 2/3 innings, an ERA of .84, 9 walks, and 58 strikeouts, and 40 hits. So way less than a hit an inning, more than a strikeout an inning, doesn't walk anybody. That's how you get to be 5-0 and a .84 ERA. Yes, everybody needs to watch Shota Imanaga. I don't understand how the Japanese players are so good. I mean, I knew they were good, but they're really good. So, and how good he is will certainly be a major factor in how much of a competitor the Cubs will be for the Brewers. If this guy's that good, the Cubs are going to be tough. The pitcher last night, a rookie, had a no-hitter for, was it 7 innings?
That's right, yeah.
A rookie. So you get to watch a great pitcher. I think he's 30, so he's a little older, yeah. The throwing philosopher. I have no idea what that means. Seems like a weird. But he's not. He just physically isn't that imposing. He looks like a little guy. 5'10". I don't think he's 5'10". It says 175. I think he's a little more than 175. Shota Imanaga. I would normally just say, watch the Japanese guy pitch, but they tell me that's rude, and so I can't say that. But that's what are you going to say when the Cubs are playing? What's the question everybody's going to ask when the Cubs and the Brewers play? Is the Japanese guy pitching? That's the way they're going to say it. But is that rude, Pebble?
Well, he's the only Japanese pitcher in the roster, I believe.
I know, and he's the guy. That's what he is. And his name, I don't know. Eventually you learn it, but everybody knows who you're talking about. Rainman, again, brought to you by Cousin Subs. I told you the great deal. You get $25 gift card even if you stink. And if you win the contest, you win Cousin Subs for a year. Our other great partner is Saganiac Planning. They're so good I've had to change what I say about them. I've always said a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. And then, I don't remember who stated, they go like, Homer, they've been doing it for over 50 years. Yeah, big pop. Yeah, that's how they're that good. All the issue of employee benefits and taking care of your employees and all the different insurance and can be complicated. Not for them. Not when you've been doing it well for over 50 years. So, Saganiac Planning has become appropriately a name synonymous with employee benefits, top-notch service, and doing it well for over 50 years. in the past, and now with the change, phone number's still easy. Just remember 783. It's all 783. You got the number. 262-783. Roger Maris, 6161.
That number again, 262-783-6161.
We have a contestant, Dan in Kenosha. You're on 94.5 ESPN Rainman. Good evening.
Good evening. What's happening?
Who's pitching for the Cubs tonight?
Not sure.
Does that mean you don't have to know his name? Who's pitching for the Cubs tonight? Yeah, whatever. The Spanish guy. 5-0, .84 ERA.
Japanese guy, Homer.
Oh, what did I say?
Oh,
He's a Spanish guy.
Spanish guy. That's terrible. Wow, that's a sign I'm getting old. I did say that. I have to write that down. Japanese guy. Shota Imanaga. If you want the specifics, and if you're offended by me just saying that it's the Japanese pitcher, saying it's the Spanish pitcher is that's pathetic. That's like Dan. Dan, if you get one right, you will have passed me by for not being the weakest part of the segment, calling him a Spanish pitcher. Your resume, please, in Rainman, if you have any.
0-0. First time.
First time. The first question is the Big Papa Saganiac Planning Marquette trivia question. I give people advice, they never listen, so now I will let Pebble do it, and then we'll see if he even listens.
Yep, you have a short amount of time, only 2 minutes to go through all 15 questions, so don't dilly-dally. If you don't know the answer, say pass or skip, and Homer will come back to it, so don't run out of time, unfortunately.
And sometimes people later on think of it and then just blurt it out and they get it right. The first question is the Big Papa Saganiac Planning Marquette trivia question. Dan, you ready to go?
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1, go. 1974 NBA draft, Bill Walton, the first overall pick. What Marquette player was number 14?
Mark Aguirre.
Incorrect. How many NBA titles for Bill Walton? NBA.
6.
Incorrect. UCLA coach John Wooden told Walton, "We will miss you," and he would not play until he did what?
Stop smoking weed.
Incorrect. Within 5 years, how old is Brewers manager Pat Murphy?
43.
Incorrect. What are the two schools where Pat Murphy was the college baseball coach?
Notre Dame and Tulane.
Incorrect. What current player has exactly 415 career home runs?
Aaron Judge.
Incorrect. Aaron Judge, 274 career home runs. The same as what Brewers player who hit 20 in Milwaukee before going to Colorado? Good luck.
Pass.
Name the Brewer hitter with the team record he struck out 1,363 times.
Pass.
Who holds the Brewers record, 126 triples?
Robin Yount.
Correct. Who had more triples, Babe Ruth or Robin Yount?
Robin Yount.
Incorrect. Who had more triples, Robin Yount or Paul Molitor?
Paul Molitor.
Incorrect. How many years of college basketball did Anthony Edwards play?
2.
Incorrect. What do Dwayne Wade, Victor Oladipo, and Anthony Edwards have in common?
Pass.
Andy Reid, how many Super Bowls as head coach or assistant coach?
1.
Incorrect. Who is oldest, Bill Walton, Bill Belichick, or me?
You.
Incorrect. I got 2.
I have 2 as well.
And I'm forgetting the 2. Robin Yount, the 126 triples. What was the other one? I don't know why.
Homer, I think you're wrong. I think it's just 1.
I think it is just 1. I think that's the only one you got. We'll go through it and make sure. Yeah, 1. All right, 1974 NBA draft. Bill Walton was pick number 1. What Marquette player was pick number 14?
Maurice Lucas?
Maurice Lucas, yes. Bill Walton named one of his kids after Maurice Lucas. How many NBA titles for Bill Walton?
3?
2. one with Portland and one with Boston. UCLA coach John Wooden told Walton, "We will miss you," and would not play him until he did what?
No clue.
Cut his hair. Within 5 years, how old is Brewers manager Pat Murphy?
65?
65 is exactly how old he is. Where did he coach college baseball?
Notre Dame and Arizona State?
Correct. What current player has 415 career home runs?
Giancarlo Stanton?
That is correct. This is my favorite question. Aaron Judge has 274 home runs. I'm like you, Dan. I thought he had more. The same as what Brewer player who hit 20 in Milwaukee before going to Colorado?
Dante Bichette.
Dante Bichette, nicely done. Name the Brewer hitter who had the most strikeouts, struck out 1,363 times. I thought this would be easy.
Ryan Braun?
Yes, Ryan Braun. Yep. He holds the Brewers' record, 126 triples, Robin Yount. Now, these Pebble will get right. Who had more triples, Babe Ruth or Robin Yount?
Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth, 136. Robin Yount, 126. People saw all those late photos of Babe Ruth when he was fat. Wasn't too fat to get 136 triples. Who had more triples, Robin Yount or Paul Molitor? Robin Yount, 126. Paul Molitor, 114. How many years of college basketball did Anthony Edwards play?
1, I believe.
1 at Georgia. What do Dwayne Wade, Victor Oladipo, and Anthony Edwards have in common?
Never won a national championship?
Nope. They were all coached by
true.
who?
Oh,
That's also true.
Coached by...
They were all coached by Tom Crean.
Tom Crean, yep.
Your answer I would have had to accept, but I just wanted to do a question where Tom Crean was the answer. Yep, because he coached Victor Oladipo at Indiana, Dwayne Wade at Marquette, and Anthony Edwards 1 year at Georgia, and they did not even make the tournament. All right, this might be tough even for Pebble. Andy Reid, how many Super Bowls as head coach or assistant coach?
4, I think. 3 as a head coach and 1 as an assistant.
Well, Green Bay, 2 as an assistant, won 1, lost 1. Philadelphia, 1 as a head coach, and Kansas City, 4. They've been in 4 of the last Super Bowl, so the correct answer, I believe, is 7. Now, this will give you bonus points, Pebble. Who is oldest, Bill Walton, Bill Belichick, or me?
You are.
Not so. I am 69. Bill Walton, the late Bill Walton.
Oh, no, Bill Belichick's the oldest, I think, right? Yeah.
Yes, 72.
He's like 70-something.
72. That's all right. I'm not offended by it, but you're fired. Bill Belichick, the oldest, then late Bill Walton, and then me. I'm a young 69. Actually, I'm an old 69. So, I don't know. For the first time, Dan, I can't be too tough on you, though you did suck. But you do get the $25 gift card from Cousin Subs. And so there's nothing to feel bad about. How many do you think you should have gotten?
Right.
I didn't sense that baseball, maybe you'd have done better if we'd had more Packer questions. Yes or no?
Yeah, I'm actually a Cubs fan, Homer.
Hold on, Pebble. Can you check? Can you
me.
check the records? When we have a Chicago fan, I'm supposed to talk slower and give him extra 30 seconds because
Nah, it's against the rules, Homer.
That is not. I'm
I'm
incorrect. I can't change the rules, even if they're from Chicago. But they just don't get things as quick. It takes them a little longer. That doesn't factor in. All right. Well, you better be watching the game tonight. I don't care which team you're rooting for. You want to watch this kid.
Absolutely.
Pitch. See how great he is. All right, congratulations. Do we get in touch with them? How do they get their gift card, Pebble?
I got to get his info off the air, Homer.
All right, we'll do that. And then we'll have Jason Wilde in a bit. Do want to mention Wade versus Diener, a 2-day event that will feature activities. Dwayne Wade and Travis Diener competing to raise the most money for local youth literacy programs. Mark your calendars for June 15th. The tee-off party that's Saturday night, hosted by Wade and Diener at Pilot Project. Through your support, helping break down barriers and create a brighter future for Milwaukee's youth. Don't miss the opportunity to join the superstar Dwayne Wade, Travis Diener. Oh, baby. Give back to the Milwaukee community through their shared love of basketball and fundraising for youth literacy. There's a golf tournament the following Monday. Register at Wade Diener Gala. Gala? Tell me again, Pebble. What is
one
it?
and the same.
Gala?
Yeah.
I think so. Register at wadedienergala.givesmart.com. Jason Wilde, next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
Southbound 43, right about at North Avenue. Right lane is blocked right now with a crash. So that means we've got backups all the way back to Hampton Avenue. On the northbound side of 43, slow out of the Marquette all the way to Keefe. Westbound 94 backed up out of the Marquette interchange. Watch for delays all the way to Mitchell Boulevard, then back on the brakes from just west of Highway 100 into Waukesha County. And then we've also got an issue on 894 westbound, broken down vehicle off on the right shoulder. Problem is, this is right through that construction zone, so it's really going to be slow right out of the Mitchell interchange all the way past that scene. Traffic is brought to you by Dave & Buster's College Night Thursdays. College students get a free Dave & Buster's Power Card when you show your college ID. Dave & Buster's College Night Thursdays, 9 p.m. to close. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast tonight, clear and chilly with a low of 48 at the lakefront, 43 inland. And tomorrow, sunny and beautiful, a high of 65 at the lake, 70 inland. Weather is brought to you by Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin's Road America. The NTT IndyCar Series is coming up June 6th through the 9th. Get your tickets today and check out the full season schedule at roadamerica.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
94.5 ESPN is the home for Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN Radio.
Cody Bellinger at the plate. Here's the pitch from France. Swung on and drilled. Deep right field. Forget about it.
An old-school rivalry game on Sunday night in St. Louis as the Cardinals host the Cubs.
And it's gone! A goner for Contreras. The Cardinals jump in front.
Our Sunday night baseball coverage begins at 5 p.m. right here on 94.5 ESPN and streaming live on the Wisconsin On Demand app.
What do you get when you combine grilled-to-order deliciousness with only the finest Wisconsin cheeses? Cousin Sub's new Wisconsin cheese steaks, featuring either steak or chicken, bacon, cheddar cheese, sautéed onions, and their new Cheddar Supreme cheese sauce. It's a match made in dairy heaven. And the decadence doesn't stop there. Pair your Wisconsin cheesesteak with their new Orange Dream Shake. All are available for a limited time only. Order in store, online, or via the mobile app. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
Woo! Hey, this is Ben Brust from Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin. People can't stop screaming about the Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza, and no wonder. There's plenty to scream about, like the buttery stone-fired crust, secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and tons of premium toppings. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer and find out for yourself why Sporked called Screamin' Sicilian's Holy Pepperoni frozen pizza the best of the best. Screamin' Sicilian, taste what all the screamin' is about.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Take me out to the ball game, roll out the barrel, and get up, get out of here, gone. There's nothing like Milwaukee baseball, and Discount Liquor is here to help you turn your tailgate or game viewing experience into a grand slam. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, where since 1960, we've been your one-stop shop for everything alcohol-related. This baseball season, make plans to stop by Discount Liquor, because when the division rivals from Chicago visit, the more booze, the better. With a selection of over 15,000 varieties of beer, wine, liquor, and mixers, all at the lowest prices in town, Discount Liquor has got you covered. We are your one-stop shop this baseball season. Discount Liquor, 2 locations. In Milwaukee on 51st and Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow and Maine.
Discount Liquor.
Eagle Sports Range has an unbeatable offer on concealed carry license classes. For just $49, enroll in their 3-hour class led by expert instructors prioritizing safety. Learn laws, techniques, and mindset for responsible carrying. Stick around for an optional hour of range time with instructors included in the package. Practice under professional guidance and gain confidence. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day at 2525 East Layton Avenue in Cudahy. Secure your spot at eaglesportsrange.com. Eagle Sports Range, where safety meets skill.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. It's time for Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Everybody on the planet Earth should get information about the Green Bay Packers from Jason Wilde every day of the year. I don't do it every day of the year anymore, but you can go to WisconsinOnDemand.com, and then you have Wilde and Tausch, and you can get your fix. So Jason's going to have to take back seat because the University of Wisconsin has finally announced, many, many years overdue, that Tarek Saleh is entering the Athletic Hall of Fame. He has been the leader in sacks for like 100 years from when he played. He would have played for Wisconsin, finished up in 90-something, 92, and still holds the record. So congratulations to Tarek Saleh and whoever finally got it done. So... You know Tarek, don't you, Jason?
I do. I covered him while he was a Badger, and then I know during my time at the State Journal I wrote about him because as good as he was as a pass rusher, and he was good on those teams, he got to the NFL and they made him a fullback.
Yeah, I don't know what went wrong there. Was it a bad combo or didn't fit?
It's a good question for Tarek. I'd like to ask him. I don't remember. I'd have to go back in my archives and look at what he said. Well, he was playing for Carolina and he
Detroit,
played for the Browns.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't remember. It wasn't very long.
You know, obviously a good athlete, so he was able to stick in the league on special teams where he was still able to do his tackling and stuff. But yeah, he was a field tilting player for Barry Alvarez, and then he goes to the NFL, and I think he started out as a linebacker. He was like a 4th round pick, I think, by Carolina, but he just never. It just took him a while to kind of figure out what his role was going to be. So I think he played 4 or 5 years. Probably.
Let's see. So. Carolina, 97-98. Cleveland, 99-201. Yeah. I think he played enough to get a pension, right? 4 years?
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, 5 years.
Yes, he was round 4, pick 122. In the expansion draft in 99, he was first round, pick 6. Wow. I didn't know that.
Wow, I didn't know that about him either. And so he's got to be getting up there. He and I are. I mean, I obviously covered him, so I'm 52. So
he is 49.
Yeah,
birthday on November the 7th, which I think is 5 days after Jordan Love's birthday. I think his is November 2nd. But anyway, I also have to. You always like these. I have to apologize for something I said. I was on your show.
Excellent.
So you got into all the things I quit. Of which I'm very proud of because the things I decided to keep doing instead of quitting clearly was a great judgment. I left that part out. But I said the thing that I'm really good at is bar dice. And, well, I was at Bobby's in Brookfield where I play bar dice, and they appropriately stated – no, they didn't. They appropriately stated, hey, Homer, if there's average in bar dice, you are the class of average. And I thought, yeah, that's true. So whatever I said, because I'm sure it was very positive, it was not accurate. I am nothing above average in bar dice. Not horrible, but anybody on the planet Earth is probably as good as me. I have no, incredible stories of these, and it is fundamentally luck.
That was exactly my question, and I don't want to use up my time or shorten TVV's time later in the program because he and I were talking on the sideline about how we share the Wednesday Homer Hour duties on the program. But isn't bar dice largely luck? I mean, I suppose you have to make choices on which ones to keep after your first shake.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be some measure of skill, but mostly it's just luck.
Mostly it is. I did actually have a mathematician give me some information on some roles. I think.
Slim Jim?
No. This was like a really bad. I mean, and I'm sure somebody's done it so that you know what to do in certain situations and statistically what the wise move is. But yes, there's mostly that. Some people are stupid and play poorly, but not many. Just because it involves drinks, and sometimes after you've played a few rounds, that might affect the ability to continue to play at the highest level. But anyway, I am nothing but average, and I was called out on it, and they were accurate. And I said, all right, when you listen. See, I said to them, well, it was a problem. And they go, what problem? I said, well, I should realize that when I do Jason and Tausch's show, there are actually people listening, so people might actually hear what I have to say. And they laughed just like you. And I said, yep, so now I've learned the lesson. Have to be a little careful. All right, now, I was asked before the show about, like, the most important thing with the Packers, and I said it's all the extension of Jordan Love. It's 100, everything else is a 1 until that gets done.
No,
unless you think it's going to be done for sure, then it's...
No, I don't know for sure. Unlike you, I always acknowledge that I don't know things for certain. But I do think today, and again, it could have been a little bit of performance art, but I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt that this was authentic. But we had, and you were wrong last week. You said that you thought Jair Alexander was going to talk at the last OTA practice, and you were wrong. I love to point out when you're wrong. But he talked today, and it was worth the wait. It was, and I don't know if the Packers have posted it yet on Packers.com, and if Pebble can turn it quickly enough for you so you can hear it before the end of your show. But at the end of his session, you know, I had been talking to somebody else, so I got there kind of late, and you know, I don't mean this as a, hey, look at me, look what a great job I did asking questions. But he and I do have a really good working relationship. And, like, he even had a quote that I used on the back of our basketball team's T-shirt.
And I know why you
season.
do, because he views you as fair. That's would be my answer.
I hope so. I hope he views me that way. So anyway, so I asked him like a series of questions at the end, and you know, because I said, look, this could have gone the other way, right? Like, you could have been ticked off. You could have forced your way out of here. Like we've seen. I remember, was it Josh? There was a guy in Carolina that forced his way out. I'm blanking on his name.
We don't need the name.
Old like you, but like Jalen Ramsey did it in L.A. or in first he did it in Jacksonville. So, and he said, yeah, for sure. And I said, well, what happened? Why didn't you? And it was really good about, you know, he basically said, you know, and I think it was Rob's question a little bit earlier where he said this, but you know, he said, I know I'm out on an island, but I have to realize that it's about what we all do together. And he plays a position that's very individual, and he was too much of an individual. And so we had heard, before we had access to these guys, these rave reviews about how his attitude had changed. And, you know, they had said after the suspension that, well, we're really hoping that this is, you know, we can move forward and this ends up being a positive. And I'll be honest, as someone who's done this for a long time and is not as curmudgeonly
You're
as
skeptical
you
of people changing.
But I was totally
that much.
skeptical.
Yes.
Right. I was like, no way.
Most don't.
Right. And so, but here's a guy who, like, and he went through it, and I thought this was really interesting. Like, he came to town. Now, remember, last year he skipped the off-season program. He came to town 2 or 3 weeks early and got with the new strength and conditioning staff and hit it off with them right away. And then he got to know the defensive coaches and hit it off with them. Now, that would imply to me that he didn't like what the previous strength and conditioning staff did with him, and we know he didn't like the previous coaching staff and Joe Barry specifically, right? We know that for certain. And so I do think that has contributed to it, and I also think there's a self-awareness that he said, I gotta get my act together.
All right, I might have to admit being wrong again. I have wanted to give much of the credit to Xavier McKinney. Does he deserve any credit?
So that I do. No, I think that's part of the equation too. I don't think there's any question that it has been spurred on by the connectivity between those two. I think, you know, Xavier McKinney was a captain with the Giants. You know, obviously Jair felt he should have been a captain, but if we're being honest, I think his behavior showed us why he didn't deserve that. And so maybe now being around McKinney, that has rubbed off on him. No, I think there is definitely a connection there. He said he calls him his big little brother because he's younger, but I would say that implies that he's had a very positive influence on a guy who's actually older than him in Alexander. So I think there's been kind of this confluence of he kind of got smacked around a little bit last year, figuratively speaking, for being a knucklehead. They changed the coaching staff on defense and the scheme, and I think he clearly feels better about the scheme because this vision and break zone defense that they're going to play in the back end is going to increase his interception opportunities. So he realized the error of his ways, 1. 2, he really likes the defensive coaching staff. 3, he really likes the strength and conditioning staff because I think clearly, you know, there was a disconnect last year where I think there were people, and I don't know this, but I think there were people in the building who thought he was malingering, that he didn't really have an actual back injury, and he just didn't want to play, and he was pissed off, and so he was feigning a back injury. I'm not saying he was or wasn't. I'm saying that I think there were probably people in the building who thought that, and there were probably some of them were on the strength and conditioning or the training staffs. So I think that really ticked him off. So he's now got a better connection with that group. And then, like you said, I really do think McKinney has been a very positive influence on him. So you put all those things together, and you have him being a better communicator with LaFleur and Goody. He mentioned how they've talked multiple times this off season, and that's why LaFleur's up there saying that Ja's been outstanding. He's been a great teammate. Like, he's had a great attitude. Like, you know, if there weren't all these other pieces of evidence, and again, I'm writing my story for the State Journal about it. And look, 6 weeks of the offseason program.
Put me down. He'll have an all-time high with interceptions, more than the 5.
Well, we'll see. Like, but there are encouraging signs. But as we know, actions speak louder than words. And so far, his actions have been very positive.
He's 27, and McKinney's 24. So there is a I think.
Ja's going into his 7th season.
I know, it's hard to believe.
He's not a rookie anymore by any means.
So yes, that I'm glad to hear that. I'm curious to see how.
I'd be curious if Tim, when you talk to TVV, I'd be curious. I think he and I are decent judges of character. I think I've certainly been fooled a few times over 29 years by guys in that locker room. But this struck me as pretty authentic.
Who's going to be the other starting cornerback?
Well, I did ask LaFleur about Eric Stokes, and
I'm taking the field against him.
Well, again, whether or not he can stay healthy is a very fair question.
Good point. Yeah.
But
it's really all that matters.
But Stokes talked for a long time too, and I thought what LaFleur said to me in response to my question about him, because look, he's had a really rough go, right? I mean, if we're being honest about him, he, between the foot injury, the knee injury,
it's been a huge disappointment.
Right, for a first-round pick. I mean, they don't pick up the fifth-year option for a reason. The quote from LaFleur was, "I think he's as good as I've ever seen him." Now, the skeptic in me would say, "Well, you haven't really seen that much of him." But nevertheless, he said it's both mentally and on the field. Even LaFleur admitted he wants to temper those expectations, but he said he looks fully healthy. He's challenging receivers. This is the
I wish to
year.
change my opinion. He will be the starter unless he's hurt.
Yeah, but again, that's unless he's hurt is a huge thing,
right,
for a guy who's been hurt a lot. So, Carrington Valentine is certainly a viable starter there as well. But when you invest, Tausch always says this, and Carrington Valentine was a 7th-round pick like Tausch, and Eric Stokes was a 1st-round pick. 7th-round picks constantly have to prove they belong in the league. 1st-round picks constantly have to prove that they don't before they're given up on. And, I mean, the Packers right now have a right tackle in Andre Dillard, who was a 1st-round pick in the same draft, I think, as Jair, who has bounced around and never really became a good player. But if Zach Tom's ruptured pectoral doesn't heal fully by the time the season starts, there's a very good chance that Andre Dillard is their starting right tackle. Because, again, he was a 1st-round pick. And the first thing out of LaFleur's mouth when I asked him what he thought he had in Dillard, if he does have to be that guy, was, well, he was a 1st-round pick for a reason. So there is always that benefit of the doubt that those guys get. And so I think Eric Stokes, as long as he's healthy, will get that opportunity.
Is it fair to say you can sense an even greater optimism, or how would you explain the mood of LaFleur? Because I think everything seems to be going in the right direction, but does he seem?
Yeah, for sure he does. Like, I think he's really excited that all these young guys now have at minimum 1 year, and in, Dobbs' case and Watson's case, despite the injuries, 2 years of experience in the offense, so they're not, starting from scratch and not knowing what these guys can do. I think he feels really good about where Love is. I don't think he's worried about Love getting his deal done or missing time or anything that we in the media might be at least thinking are possibilities. I think he thinks he hired the right guy defensively, who has the right scheme and has connected with the players. Again, even LaFleur himself said this today, everyone's undefeated right now. So, of course, there's all this positive.
Yeah, but he believes he's got a Super Bowl level team. I think that's what he believes.
He certainly believes that he's got a good football team and a really good group of guys. Like, I think, and again, I don't want to turn this into a referendum on the previous quarterback, but I do think, even with all my history with him, that he had been and then became increasingly more so exhausting.
Yeah, but Goody has drafted so much better. The team exists with so much more talent.
I agree with that, but that's also one of the things that I would say is why you have to be careful about this idea that, everybody's replaceable and they can just keep doing this year after year. It ain't easy to hit the batting average he's had the last 2 years. And there's no guarantee based on what he did in previous drafts that he's going to have that high batting average every single year.
I can tell you he won't. No, he won't. Nobody does.
Right. Maybe he's the guy who has a couple of, hits 330 in the majors, but most of the time he's like a, 275.
It's always got to be as Ted Thompson.
Right. Well, if he got the quarterback right, he does not have to hit near. But again, this is part of the equation.
But Ted had to hit on Woodson. There are other things he had to hit on, and
Ted, for all the young guys that he had who would fill in gaps in the roster when people got hurt, believed in veterans, and I just don't think Goody believes in them anymore, with a couple of possible exceptions.
All right. Thanks, Jason.
All right, Homer, take care. Be good.
Jason Wilde, all Packers all the time. You go to Wisconsin On Demand, and you can follow what he has to say every day. TVV, not next, but soon.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Well, looks like we've got an issue on 43 heading southbound. Right about at North Avenue, the right lane is blocked with a crash. That's slowing things down all the way back past Hampton Avenue. Northbound side slowing down from the Marquette all the way up past Keefe. Westbound 94 filling in from the Marquette all the way to Mitchell Boulevard, and then back on the brakes, on and off, basically the brakes through Waukesha County, heading all the way towards Highway 16. Eastbound's just as heavy from Highway F all the way through to about Springdale Road. And back on the brakes coming out of the Zoo interchange to about Hawley Road. Traffic is brought to you by the Bud Pavilion's free concert series, Wednesday Night Live. Gates open at 6. Live music starts at 7. Tonight with Rebel Grace from the Bud Pavilion at State Fair Park. And check the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, clear and chilly with a low of 48 at the lake, 43 inland. Tomorrow, sunny and beautiful, a high of 65 at the lake, 70 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
In Wisconsin, bicycles are legal and intended users of the road. We remind drivers to share the road and make sure to slow down and give at least 3 feet when passing a person biking. Let's make sure everyone, no matter their mode of travel, gets home safely. Learn more at wisconsinbikefed.org.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman.
I was impressed by how aggressive Anthony Edwards was on the outset. I mean, this is a guy that got to the free throw line early and often. It was the kind of aggression that you wanted to see from him because everybody understands he's the catalyst for what Minnesota does on the offensive end. And so I think that was what allowed them to build an early lead. Now, they gave it back with some empty possessions in the second quarter, some silly fouls. Karl Anthony Towns had 2 offensive fouls. He got himself into early foul trouble. He had to sit for a large chunk of the second quarter and the third quarter. And those are things that can't happen if Minnesota is going to make this a long series, if they are going to win game 5 going back home. So I thought overall, though, it came down to the stars of Minnesota showing up and Ant-Man and Karl Anthony Towns being able to step up when needed most.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Summer with Saz's. Wonton-wrapped mozzarella sticks, refreshing craft cocktails, crispy sour cream and chive fries, barbecue pulled pork sandwiches, you name it, they've got it. Saz's Steakhouse has been a Milwaukee staple for almost 50 years. So grab your friends and come experience the finest for yourself. Join them on their outdoor patio or pull up a seat at Saz's famous Round Bar. Complimentary shuttles are ready to take you to games and concerts at AmFam Field. Located at 55th and State. Learn more at saz's.com.
Stay up to date on the green and gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee. Rainman is brought to you by Cousin Subs. Skip the line and order online with a Cousin Subs mobile app and join the Cousins Club. Cousin Subs, they believe in better. You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Tune in to Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Behind the Bucks dives deep into the Bucks and Six, a culture unknowingly created by former Bucs star Brandon Jennings. Take a look inside the Brandon Jennings story, the origin of Bucks and Six, how it became the rallying cry, and what it truly means to Jennings and Bucks fans alike. Find Behind the Bucks on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get your podcasts. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher. Pebble, you have the comments of Jair, right? When Jason was talking, what do you have we can listen to? I don't know what he...
Amass anything that happens, within the building. I really do love playing here. It's actually a historical place, and it's fun to play here. So that's why. Where would I go? Never mind. I'm not even gonna say it. But yeah, I enjoy it here. Trust me.
Jai Alexander, our Discount Liquor Twitter poll question. I believe he had 5 interceptions, a career high in the NFL 2 seasons ago. I don't think he even had one last year. He didn't play in that many games. I believe he will set a career high with more than 5 interceptions this upcoming season. You can agree or disagree. The Discount Liquor Twitter poll question. TVV, Tim Van Voren will be on in just a second. Fisco Auto Body, I tell you to go there because they're that good. And when you go there, you get an auto body place forever. And so whenever anything happens, we'll go to Fisco. And people do. And then they like Fisco. And then they say, hey, Homer, thanks. So I admit, I tell you about Fisco to help my reputation because I know you're going to like them. You're going to thank them. And then you're going to thank me for bringing it up. Fisco Auto Body. I don't mention the address often enough. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. If you're curious, how can they be so good? It's a family business owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are. So you learn how to do this stuff long before you ever do it for anybody else. And by the time you're doing it for anybody else, you're so good. Fisco, 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 to remember the name. TVV, Tim Van Voren, Fox 6 Sports is next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN. Wilde and Tout, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by Coors Light.
You are looking live.
Hi,
I am looking live at 18 different things. I've got my glasses on. I can read it. If you don't want to do it, fine. I'll just lean over.
I got it.
Trade proposal. No, forget you. You had your chance. And you compared me to your grandpa.
May he rest in peace.
Wilde and Tausch, weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN. And available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sportsbook, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Baseball, grilling, festivals, tan lines, and Saz's. Summer in Wisconsin is the finest, and Saz's Statehouse is the place to be. They've been a Milwaukee staple for almost 50 years, so they know a thing or two about summer fun. Enjoy handcrafted cocktails, festival-famous combo platters on Saz's Round Bar. Saz's complimentary shuttles are ready to take you to games and concerts at AmFam Field. Get details at Saz's.com, located at 55th and State. See you at Saz's.
With 18 unforgettable holes on 250 acres of natural private land, the Bog provides the ultimate golf experience. To book your next tee time, call 262-284-7075 or visit golfthebog.com. Enjoy golf. Enjoy the Bog.
Grab tickets to any Brewers game now. Next up, it's a can't-miss homestand against the Cubs and the White Sox the week of May 27th through June 2nd. Open up a new chapter of the I-94 rivalry May 27th through the 30th as the Brewers take on the Cubs. Then join Happy Days theme night for a Bronze Fonz bobblehead at the game on Friday, May 31st. Get in on a big week of Brewers action now at brewers.com/tickets.
Hey, it's Kyle Walls for Universal Windows Direct. I've been telling you that windows from Universal perform better and last longer. Call today at 414-410-2000 to schedule your free in-home estimate today. And for every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free. Plus a free upgrade to triple pane glass, and they'll double your energy tax credit. Restrictions do apply. Tell them I told you to call and get an additional $250 off your next project. For the last windows you'll ever need, go to universalwindowsdirect.com, and like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Derek Jeter for American Family Insurance.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they'll help protect your family's dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, a future rocket scientist, we have liftoff, or a budding prima ballerina, you can count on an American Family Insurance agent to help you dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Lower prices. Those aren't words you hear too often these days. But at your local Milwaukee and Chicago area IKEA stores, they've rolled out new lower prices on hundreds of your favorite furniture and home furnishing options throughout the store, making it more affordable to give any room in your home a stylish makeover. Utilizing innovations in design, production, and packaging, we strive to cut costs and lower prices without compromising quality, passing those savings on to you. Visit your local IKEA stores to see what savings are coming next.
Station updates, show clips, and your place to interact with us every single day just by scrolling through your feed. Follow along on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at ESPN Milwaukee. Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. The 3 most important letters in sports. Even better than those.
TVV.
It's Fox 6 Sports Director Tim Van Voren on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
And we are streaming on video right now. Go to YouTube, search ESPN Milwaukee, or search the Homer Hour. You'll find that. Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. That's what everybody tells you on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, and that means you'll always be able to catch the show. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. That makes it easier. Tim Van Voren, Fox 6 Sports. Jason Wilde said, I want TVV to be asked about Jair Alexander, if he seems different, or whatever you want to say about Jair. Good evening, TVV.
Homer, good evening. Beautiful day.
Yep. Not to be confused with the Noah flood from last night.
Yeah, we've had a few of those lately.
Yes, I judge it by if the water because it's not going down because it's clogged up with maybe leaves or whatever, goes all the way across to the other side. There were a couple of examples of that last night.
Yeah, I was booming pretty good. I was inside the ballpark, and I was glad it was a roof.
Well, you got to be going tonight.
Well, Green Bay today. I mean, you can't be everywhere every time. The 2
You're on your way back, right? You got to go see
I am.
Imanaga. You're gonna be there, right?
I am not going to be there.
Oh, you can watch on TV.
No. Well, I got Jair. I mean, I got Jason Wilde and Jair. I mean, there's a quota. There's a cap for all of us on every day.
Okay. So what do you think of Jair? Is he different?
I thought he was humbled last year. I thought the suspension deal, really hit him between the eyes. Like, this is legitimate stuff. So I think he is different because I felt that happened to him last year. I felt that change from him last year. And this year he seems very, very meshed with the training staff, very meshed with the defensive coaching staff. I think they came in, with an edict or a mandate to try to make that happen. And I think
what was the problem with the training staff? I've never heard anything brought up.
I don't know. I'm not. To me, that's not a slap in the past training staff. That's just he brought up, hey, how much I mesh with these guys. So I'm not saying there's any problem there. I'm just saying these players spend a lot of time. There's those strength and conditioning staffs. There's usually 4 coaches. There's a coordinator and 3 coaches in that staff. They spend a lot of time hands-on with the players, more so than fans ever realize. So they have more direct interaction than most of the position coaches on a staff.
Yeah, but you've known those guys. They're always so incredibly positive. They just they're
yeah.
But I mean, all right.
Yeah, but over time, maybe personalities don't mesh or whatever it might be.
Okay.
It's just if Alexander brings it up to me, he brought it up for a reason.
Yes.
And I think the defensive coaches, that's even different than the strength and conditioning staff. I think, that was part of the question process when you're interviewing people. If you're Matt LaFleur, can you get along with this guy? How are you going to get along with this guy? Whatever it might be. So I just think, yes, he is different this year for a lot of different reasons.
As you just said, you saw some of that last year. It's not your first.
Yeah, after the suspension, yes. I thought it was that whole thing was a wake-up call. And Matt LaFleur doesn't always, and by extension, or whether it's Brian Gutekunst in that situation, I'm not sure, who really, puts the hammer down on those guys. I felt last year, and obviously now with the benefit of hindsight, think even more so, that, Devondre Campbell, that was a joke, the way he was allowed to make his comments and not be reprimanded. But Matt LaFleur or the organization did come down on Jair Alexander, and I think it resonated.
All right, what else? Everything seems good. Is that an overstatement?
Pretty positive. You know what I mean? This time of year, you look out on the practice field, and with this type of team, it's going to look good because it's young, athletic guys. Everybody's running their reps at a decent speed. They're not getting tired out. I mean, I was looking at Bo Melton. Bo Melton last year, I thought was a real nice receiver for the Packers. Kind of came out of nowhere. Well, today, he's split out with the back end receiver group down with the backup quarterbacks because these other guys are on the front end of the receiver groups, and he's selling out his routes down there. That's partly Bo Melton, but that's kind of who these guys are and kind of what this roster looks like right now. And everybody's kind of, pushing in the same direction.
Is it an exaggeration to make too much of it?
Sure it is. But we're there once a week to look at these guys and then to report back to you and the listeners and the viewers on Fox 6 and the readers, whatever it might be. And so it's inevitable. We're going to, what do you see? And what you see is a lot of positivity today. The sun is shining. Everybody's jocular and ready to roll. The feeling is still so positive off last season. And you Homer, you're a good interviewer. You walk into a locker room like the Packers right now, you could just set the ball up on the tee. Oh, were you hungry to come back after last year's run ended in the playoffs? Of course, you know exactly where they're going to go with the answer with that. Every guy to a man is going to have.
All right, then now I'm going to ask the question to you that I can't ask the players.
Yep.
How much of this is Aaron Rodgers being gone? Come on, TVV.
Aaron Rodgers wasn't a monster presence in the offseason as far as I was concerned, but he was a presence over the organization in general. And you were not going to run counter to the way he wanted to do things. And that included the coaching staff, which was on eggshells on more than one occasion about certain things. So there's a different vibe with him not being there, or any star player with opinions who's been in one place predating the coaching staff. I don't think that's a huge surprise. And obviously, as we know, Aaron Rodgers has opinions. But I go just to the Jordan Love question. We talked about it while he was coming out of the shadow of Aaron Rodgers. When's he going to be able to let it rip personality-wise? Not just his arm strength, personality-wise, because now it's his room. That's what we're seeing. Last year, that's what you started to see, him taking over the team with his personality, which is nowhere near Rodgers' personality. But if you're going to be the main player on a team, the team is going to take its cues from you. And it did from Rodgers. It is from Jordan Love. And this team is very much like Jordan Love. Eager, talented, still trying to prove themselves at the NFL level, and still with something to gain. Who's overpaid on the Packers right now, Homer?
That's what I ask you. I would say no one.
Nobody. Who? Nobody. So it's a whole different deal. Everybody's looking for their bite at the apple financially as much as anything else.
I want to give credit to Xavier McKinney for anything I can, but I don't know if it's appropriate. What is appropriate this early in the importance of Xavier McKinney in any way?
I really enjoyed talking to him last week. Obviously he talked when he first signed, he and Josh Jacobs, but, now he's been around the team a little bit and was interacting with people. So I talked to him last week and was impressed by him. I mean, I think he's very comfortable, and you and I have talked about this before, and we're certainly not the only ones who talked about it. The Packers have given him the keys to the entire defense. It is Xavier McKinney. It is the X Factor, the X Man, whatever you want to say.
And he's only 24. He's just a kid.
And if it bombs, then you can say there you go, Tim. He's overpaid. So, I mean, if it doesn't work, because he's got a lot of money.
Yes, he's.
But he's in the spotlight for that. But I don't think it will miss. I think unless everybody miscalculated here, he seems like a perfect fit for what they're trying to do. And the interaction with guys like Jair Alexander, based on what Alexander tells us today, have been nothing but positive so far.
I think that Matt LaFleur believes this team is Super Bowl level. He can't say it. I don't know how he will say it. Is that appropriate, or is that going too far?
I think it's Super Bowl potential. I think, if you believe in your offense to the degree that the Packers could believe in their offense late last year, you have great faith in your ability to win in the NFL. I would say, however, we've seen some market correction for teams. The Packers, as late as the holiday of Christmas last year, had a lot of question marks. They put it together after that. You know what I mean? Don't rest on the finish of last year. They need to step forward.
And lastly, the TVV scouting bureau. Give me a name. Just any name you want to throw out that you just, Homer, remember this name. You got one?
I should.
Defensive line game. Give me a defensive line name, because that adjustment to me is going to be huge. They're being asked to do something different. Anybody that's in the that you like?
Well, I think TJ. I mean, there's a guy who's going to cash in. TJ Slayton is going to be big this year, and I'll give you a little Lucas Van Ness.
Oh, we can discuss that. Nice tease. TVV, you're the best. Thanks.
See you, Homer.
And he won't be there. He's in Green Bay, but you watch that pitcher for the Cubs, and I don't care that he pitches for the Cubs. Next.
Looks like we've got an issue on 43 heading southbound. Right about at North Avenue, the right lane is blocked with a crash. That's slowing things down all the way back past Hampton Avenue. North